Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda. This is Kevin
Hi there.
with A. Smith Gallery, and we're here with Bill Polkinghorn.
Welcome, Bill.
How are you? So Bill lives we're in California. What's the name of the town?
Calexico, California.
Calexico, yeah.
Which is like
Yeah.
at the very bottom, right?
Yeah, it's 10 blocks from the Mexican border.
Oh, wow. Well, Bill received the Director's Award for an image in the She exhibition last year. Polly Gaillard was the juror for that, and the title of the image was Il Pensatore. It's one of my favorite images. Lady smoking a cigarette. It's just, I love that
That's a
image.
great image.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great image. Yeah. So,
All right. I'm going to start by reading Bill's bio. Bill was born and raised in the center of the Mojave Desert, which covers most of deep Southern California and Arizona, where he owns and manages Bill Polkinhorn Incorporated, a customs brokerage company founded by his grandfather in 1917. He continues to live and work there. He is married and has 4 grown daughters. He left the desert for 13 years, 9 of which were spent in college, where he earned degrees in zoology, chemistry, English, Spanish, and psychology. My goodness. That kind of sounds like me, except you got degrees. I went to 8 different schools and didn't get one. So
Didn't know what I wanted to do.
Bill returned to the desert and began working in the family business. When he was able to return to his interest in photography in approximately 2014, digital photography was the up and coming thing. He bought a digital camera and began teaching himself how to take pictures. The desert was his subject, and the internet was his instructor. His first images taken during his teenage years were black and white. He has come around now once again, mostly to black and white work. His immediate surroundings, the desert Southwest, have become his worthy subject, to which he has returned many times, each time hopefully with a higher level of consideration and thoughtful restraint. Well said. And now, if you'll read or give us your statement, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I was born in here in the middle of the desert, as were my parents and grandparents. And my photography is kind of a deep exploration of this landscape, which I think has shaped me. The desert's grandeur and its elegant sparseness and its unyielding simplicity inspire my work. It is this vast expanse where heat and desolation reign. There's a profound stillness and a quiet that speaks to the timelessness and eternal nature of this universe. Through my lens, I seek to capture this delicate balance, the interplay of light and shadow across the flats and hills, the weathered resilience of ancient rock formations, and the fleeting moments where life persists against all odds, and as well here in the desert. Each image is an invitation to pause, to feel the weight and the eternal, and to connect with the universe's enduring presence. My photographs are not just representations of the desert. They are meditations on its ability to reveal both the ephemeral and the infinite. It is my intention to record and to preserve these places in my own imagination, but moreover, the exploration of these harsh and yet stunningly beautiful landscapes that offer a glimpse into the possibility, into possibly coming to some understanding of the human condition.
Wonderful. Really well said. Thank you for that.
The title of this exhibit is Desert Stanzas, which I forgot to say. So, yeah, great.
So, your family, were they also born in that part of the country?
Yes, they were. Yes. And
So you go back generations in the desert. So it's not just
my grandparents founded the city of Calexico on both sides, and Calexico was founded in about 1900, 1902, right in there. And yeah, it been here a long time.
so it's definitely in your
In
blood,
your
in your
blood,
blood, and it shows. Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
the word Calexico, what does that mean? Is that a Spanish
Well,
word?
it's a combination of California and Mexico.
Ah,
Okay.
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
All right.
that's cool.
Okay, we're going to screen share your images. So I'm going to start asking a few questions here.
sure, no problem.
The desert appears clean, sterile. Ascetics go to live in caves in the desert. Travelers get lost in the desert. Gangsters drive poor souls out into the desert. Unlike most landscapes, it has numerous and immediate connotations. Can you tell us more of what it has meant to you and how this is manifested in your photography?
Yeah, when I first started taking pictures of the desert, I tended toward pictures like this, which were actually the desert. And then as I kind of got into it, I started realizing that the desert is in everything down in this area, whether it's an urbanized to a certain extent or whether it's actually the raw desert. And so there's a feel to the desert that I'm drawn to for some reason or other. I don't. It's like I want to understand it. Where what is it? Where does it come from? And there's places like this one right here. These are ruins and remnants of a town that was there back in the 30s, and it's slowly returning back to the desert. And those kinds of issues are just fascinating to me, probably because I'm from this area, I would suppose.
Right. These are all really, really nice photographs. Okay. In many of your pictures, the horizon is very low in the image. Having spent quite a bit of time in the desert and lived in Lubbock, Texas as a child, your images demonstrate what it is truly like, and I'm talking about myself there, what it is truly like to stand in a flat landscape with minimal visual distractions scanning the distance. Was this intentional or just a natural response to the landscape? Let's find one of those images. Like, for example, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's both actually. I have uh, I have experimented around with both uh, getting up above the horizon a little bit, and I can understand why Ansel Adams took pictures from on top of his vehicle, and then he had a platform up there. And if you just get up like 6 feet or 8 feet above the ground, you get a whole different picture, a whole different perspective you're trying to take a photo of. But most of my photos are have a big sky in them because the sky is so much a part of a desert landscape, I think. And to me, it really adds to the photo.
Well, that was good. That was my next question. I say also in many of your images, the sky is the predominant feature. It is interesting how a shot of the desert becomes a study of the sky. It certainly makes sense. They go hand in hand. Your thoughts on this, and you're just talking about that. And also, yesterday we were looking at something in an Ansel Adams image of moonrise over. Is it Hernandez? What was I?
Yeah, it's Hernandez. Yeah.
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 His horizon is very low, just like some of your shots here. So that's a good reference. How do you feel about the sky in your images? You want to
Well,
speak to that?
sometimes it a sky like this has some texture to it, and it to me it was just as interesting as the subject matter in the lower part of the image. But sometimes it adds to the image if there's nothing up there. Okay. Now this one is I was kind of at least I wasn't trying to do exactly what we're talking about, the sky versus subject, but uh, I did uh, I did try to bring the horizon up a little higher for this image because it to me it was necessary in order for the subject matter to kind of come out at you a little bit more.
Are you on a tripod with most of these shots?
No, I'm not.
No,
And
yeah,
it's a good thing about my photography is most of my photography is not uh, thought out or planned. And my lifestyle kind of doesn't permit it. Most of the
right,
time, most of my shots are taken on the fly. Okay, and I hope like hell it comes out. Most of the time it doesn't, but I someday I want to have a little bit more time to really prepare for the shot and compose it a little bit better. But most of them were taken really quickly. Some of them out of a moving car, even.
right, right. Yeah, these are really nice.
This is a image of an old cafe that was founded by a retired bullfighter, and and it was a woman. It was one of the very few women bullfighters that ever existed. And she ended up here in the Imperial Valley and started this. It actually was a grocery store and a restaurant at the same time. And it's kind of a landmark down here, very close to the border, maybe 5 blocks actually from the border. And it's closed now. It's been shuttered for many, many years, but it's still there. No one has the heart to tear it down, you know?
Right. I imagine Borderlands tend to attract characters. I would imagine there's quite a few characters around there.
Oh, yeah. 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 Well, if you are kind of from the desert yourself, you would know that.
Yeah, this is beautiful. So your choice to tone these, there's a few that you've toned like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I did. And, uh, you know, my dream is to be able to maybe, I would like to be able to someday actually print an image like this, but of course, it needs to be of a much better quality in order to do that. And but I'm really fascinated by the images of the people that came way before us that used that they toned their images in various different ways, and and they're very it's very appealing to me.
Right. I really like this one. So is that a crop or did
No, it's a tree line actually.
well, no, what I'm asking is that a crop of a larger image or do you have a lens, a panoramic lens or
No, I did uh, I stitched 3 or 4
yeah,
images.
okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I actually got to stop and do this one right, or more or less right.
Well, how about one last question?
Okay.
Well, actually, I have a couple here. I have found that when photographing home, a lived-in familiar place, photographers tend to shoot differently than they do in an alien environment, with possibly more intention or direction. Do you th feel that about your work in the desert and your shots other places?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I you know, I see things in the desert environment that capture my imagination a lot more often than I do like this, if I'm say in a downtown urban environment or something. You know, you see stuff and but it's like you feel like you're in. I do. I feel like I'm in an alien landscape, and I'm not exactly not there long enough to get anything figured out. You know,
Right,
whereas
right,
in the desert, I have a sense of where the settings need to be, uh, and I see more. I see more that uh, that I don't know. You're always looking for the unseeable, and you're trying to know the unknowable as a photographer. And to me, it's easier to do in a desert environment.
shot also. There's something about trains in the desert.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Like that.
So
Yeah,
how far is like a location like this from where you live?
that is actually, I would say, quarter of a mile from where
Oh,
we live.
wow.
Hmm.
They bring sheep down here in the wintertime. They bring them out of Colorado, and down here, alfalfa is a big crop down here. But it tends to go dormant from say October to April or May, right in there. And so it grows, but it doesn't grow well enough to be able to harvest it and bale it and sell it. So what they do is they bring these sheep down here because it's warmer here, and they they feed on these fields. They just move them from field to alfalfa field, and they'll feed on the field until it goes down to the ground. They'll move them to the next one, and so it's a big deal down here. They'll bring several 100,000 sheep every winter here to this area, to the Imperial Valley.
I think that's our last image.
That's a graveyard, by the way.
Now, which one is that? Which one?
That
One.
one.
Yeah.
Probably figure that out, but
Yeah.
it's an old mine that was abandoned back in the early 40s that went dry, or the price of silver was a silver mine, and that's just where they buried people.
Kind of reminds me of Terlingua.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Terlingua out in Big Bend?
No, where is that? Is that in Texas?
Big Bend is down, you know where Big Bend is?
No.
Way south. Yeah, it's way southwest Texas. It's basically the park borders Mexico. It's on the Rio Grande.
It looks just like that.
It looks real similar to that. Yeah. I mean, I think you would really love the landscape down there. It's real similar.
We've been going to Texas the last couple of years. My daughter moved to, I think I mentioned this to you guys earlier. She moved to Austin, and
Right.
so road trips, and we go the southerly route, and we go through El Paso, and probably south of us is what you're talking about, right?
You're going right above it when you're probably coming down I-10, right? When you're
Yeah.
headed in.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're driving right at the edge of that area there.
So when you get to Fort Stockton, hang a right
And
and you go to Big Bend.
Oh, okay. We
Yeah.
probably see signs for it then.
Uh-huh. Probably.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a little town called Marathon, which is at the gateway. It's a gateway to the park down there, and they have a wonderful hotel, the Gage Hotel Motel or Hotel.
Okay.
Have a great restaurant, and the setting's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds interesting. We stay usually at Van Horn, and there's it's a really old hotel there
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
We've stayed there many times.
I love that hotel.
Yeah.
Well, the one in the Gage was designed by the same.
Yeah, they built the architect designed, I think, 4 hotels out there, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll have to make time for that next time. What time? I never have any time.
Bill, is there anything else you'd like to say about the work?
No, just thank you so much, you guys. I really love the way you run your operation, and I like the way it's formatted, and it seems very relevant to the times to me, and I really wish you all of the success in the whole world with it.
And thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, sure.
And
Okay.
all right, well, keep up the good work.
Okay.
And maybe someday we'll make it out there.
Yeah, we'll meet you
Yeah,
there.
I almost made it by your place the last trip we made. I saw the turnoff.
Yeah.
Well, give us a holler. We'll buy you a beer or a coffee.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.